Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice for radio, so today it's time to talk about the new Swellow from the upcoming Guardians Rising expansion. But rather than talking about him on his own, we are going to be comparing it to Wailord, and you'll see why very, very shortly. Swellow's got 90 HP. Good news, you can search him with level ball. Bad news, he's got 90 HP. That's very, very low. Weakness to lightning would be quite a good weakness to have. We don't have many good lightning Pokemon at the moment, unless Tapu Koko becomes really popular. But oh no, wait, Tapu Koko's getting a one-hit KO anyway, because he's got 90 HP. It's a little bit embarrassing. He should not be feeling good about himself. But, you know, level ball. And the retreat cost of 1 is actually really handy. Attacks for 1 energy, retreats for 1 energy. It means you're always going to have the energy on to retreat. That's very, very nice. Now we get to the similarity with Wailord. The first attack, 1 colourless energy, 20 damage, flip a coin. If heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. If you can hit a heads, you have immunity. And with the rules of probability being what they are, flip a coin, you've got 50% chance, a 1 in 2 chance of flipping a heads, gaining that immunity next turn. But of course, in Guardians Rising, we get a reprint of the Victory Flip Victini. Not an exact reprint, but the ability is the same, and that's what matters. This means you can reflip that coin if it's a tails, meaning you have a 3/4 or 75% chance of flipping a heads and gaining immunity the following turn. And this is where it becomes very similar to Wailord, because Wailord also has an attack that allows you to flip a coin, and if heads, you gain immunity the following turn. The difference is it does 40 damage rather than 20, but it costs 3 energy rather than 1. So, is Swellow better? Well, it's got much lower HP, but it attacks for 1 energy. And that's essentially the differences here. There is one other major advantage that Swellow has over Wailord, and that is a really good second attack. The second attack, also for 1 colourless energy, 40 damage base, but you'll never be using it for 40. If you used agility during your last turn, you do 120. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking. You sit there doing 20 damage a turn, and as soon as your opponent's active Pokemon has 120 or less HP remaining, you then go and use a second attack to do 120 and get a KO. And this actually builds up quite quickly. We're going to get the item card, the tool Choice Band in Guardians Rising, allows your attacks to do 30 more to EXs or GXs. So now to an EX or GX, agility does 50, and then the next turn you can do 150, adding up to 200 in total. You use a Professor Kukui either turn, you're doing 220, that's KOing Mega EXs, like Mega Gardevoir, Mega Rayquaza, as well as all basic and Stage 1 GX Pokemon. Even though you can't use Choice Band against non-EX, non-GX, you're doing 20 then 120, 140 will KO most non-EX, non-GX Pokemon. This builds up very, very nicely. It essentially means that if you flip a heads, and with Victini you've got a 75% chance of doing so, you're basically getting a one-hit KO. So what's my problem with Swellow? I have 2 problems. Firstly, your opponent can just use Lysander or Escape Rope to take something off of the bench. That's a little bit of a pain. They can also use Pokemon Ranger to take away the immunity and get a KO. That's a pain. But they can also use Switch or Escape Rope to stop you using the second attack. As soon as you go to the bench, any effects on the Pokemon are gotten rid of. That means that if you use Agility but then your opponent plays an Escape Rope, if you do the second attack Swallow Dive next turn, you don't do 120, you just do the base 40. That's not very good at all. So if your opponent plays a Lysander or an Escape Rope or a Pokemon Ranger, then this whole theory goes to pot. But the other thing, and this is what really annoys me about Swellow in comparison to Wailord, 90 HP. And I keep coming back to this. In my Wailord video, I talked about the fact that Wailord's got 200 HP. And being a water Pokemon, you can heal every turn with Rough Seas. It means that if you flip a Tails, or if your opponent plays a Pokemon Ranger, they still probably won't be able to get a one-hit KO. But with Swellow, if you flip a Tails, or if your opponent plays a Pokemon Ranger, they will almost certainly be able to go and get a one-hit KO. Even if they can't get a KO, even if they just play an escape rope, you're stuck doing 20 damage per turn or 50 with a choice band, and that's the problem. Swellow is really, really good. And I mean really good. Unless your opponent plays an escape rope, or a Lysander, or a Pokemon Ranger, or you flip a Tails. If any of those things happen, Swellow is terrible. If you're taking a KO with every Swellow, and then the 90 HP Swellow goes down, it's a stage 1. It attacks for a single energy. You'll get another one up. I'm not worried about being KO'd after I take a KO. I'm worried about not getting to take KOs. And that's why I've got to give Swellow between 2 and 3 Wassies. I don't think Swellow is as good as Wailord. It's faster. It takes less energy. It's got a better second attack. But it's not tankable, which means as soon as your opponent plays a Ranger or you hit a Tails, it's all over. Now you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen, there is a comment section. Go nuts, be nice. There are a couple of buttons to which I would like to bring your attention. The like button and the subscribe button. You know what they do. You know what I'm asking. You can follow me on Twitter @TheWassie, and the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.